संबलपुर प्रधानमंत्री प्रमुख सचिव पीके मिश्र संबलपुर आईआईएमर नवम समावर्तन उत्सव में मुख्य अतिथि भाव से जोगदे कार्यक्रम में अन्य आईआईएम बोर्ड गवर्नर अध्यक्षा पद्मश्री अरुंधति भट्टाचार्य पोस्टन कंसल्टिंग ग्रुप एमडी आशीष गर्ग सम्मानित अतिथि भाव जोगदे
The Hirakud Dam, located nearby, in turn represents the building of modern India. In fact, this area has also a lot of potential, and a development plan is being prepared by the government of Odisha, and which will include not only tourism but education and multi-level activities in this area, which include Hirakud Dam, nearby areas which have a lot of tourism potentials, and of course the educational institutions in this area. So in fact, we are going to have a discussion this afternoon on the development of this area, its potential, and how to utilize it to build tourism and other activities. My dear students, I congratulate each and every one of you. This is an important milestone in your life, which you must cherish and celebrate. At the same time, however, you must look to the future, to accomplishment of many more milestones, building further on the foundational stone which you have built today. Also remember, what you have achieved today is an outcome of not just your own efforts, but also the contributions of your parents, teachers, and many others around you. Your knowledge, you should acknowledge their contributions. Always remember that no person is successful just by himself or herself. Today I wish to speak to you on the theme that directly impacts your future, opportunities and challenges in the current geopolitical and economic context. All of you know that the post-COVID world is different from what it was before. Much has changed since then. There are uncertainties all around today. They are much more than earlier time. The impact of COVID-19, which was unprecedented disaster engulfing the entire world. When a disaster takes place, it affects a part of a country, a part of a region like earthquake and cyclone and so on. But the COVID-19 was possibly unprecedented in the sense, at least for a century, that it affected the entire world at the same time. There are still countries which still have the impact of this COVID-19. Geopolitical situation has become very complex and creates tremendous stress on the economy and polity. The perspective on globalization seems to be changing as never before. The most recent development consequent upon the reciprocal tariffs by the United States of America have far-reaching consequences for the global economic and geopolitical landscape. We are living in an interesting and challenging time. The global economy is at a critical juncture, facing an array of complex challenges. Disruptions in global supply chains, protectionist policies, heightened geopolitical tension, changing global trade patterns, etc., are adding to the complexity. It is in this context that you have to chart your future and see how much it is challenging or how it provides also you some opportunities. We are grappling with tectonic shift in geopolitical alignment, while also witnessing technological breakthroughs at a pace never seen before. Supply chains are being reimagined, trade relationships are being redefined, climate and sustainability are central to the conversation. Amid this churning, one thing is clear: the future will not just be inherited, it will be created. You need to create your own future. It is in this situation that India has to chart its development journey. It is in this situation that you have to see how you can shape the future. Professor Jaiswal said there are 60% women students here, 40% men. Of course, he mentioned also we would like to see how we can increase the number of boys. But I don't think it is necessary, because everywhere else we talk about women reservation, whether in the legislature, whether elsewhere. So if there are more women students than men, I think it is a good thing, and they have all come by merit, not by any reservation. So I think we should encourage more and more, and also world over, as Mr. Garg also will say, because women participation is extremely important, and lot of studies, economists and ILO, all of them talk about women participation. It is still much lower in India than many other countries. So I think we must encourage them to come more and more. And doesn't matter if they are 80% also, because they will. We are in Amrit Kal. Our Prime Minister had laid down a grand vision for India in 1947. Far-reaching changes will be taking place for India and the world in the coming decades. Some of the numbers were mentioned by Mr. Garg, how he said how it will become 30 trillion economy, and how we have to build something which has never been built during the last so many centuries and decades. Prime Minister wants all of us to take the country to the next level through the process of reform, perform, and transform. In this endeavor, all of you will be playing a very, very critical role in ensuring that India becomes a developed country by 2047. So next 20, 30 years, when you work, that will be the most crucial period, not only for you, but also for the country. Today, India is having a good standing globally, and it is shaping both by internal transformation as well as shifting global dynamics. Internally, on the one hand, growing economy, young population, expanding infrastructure, and technological advance form our strength. Globally, India's geopolitical influence, strategic partnership, diaspora communities, soft power in terms of global influence, etc., highlight our country's growing influence. India has several strengths. I would give a few examples. Some of these were mentioned by earlier speakers. India has become a global innovation powerhouse with over 100 unicorns. We are the third startup ecosystem in the world. In fact, yesterday when I was in the flight from Delhi, next to me was a young man sitting next to me. He appeared somewhat familiar. Then he introduced himself. He was studying in the engineering college, Veer Surendra Sai Engineering College, Bulla there. He said he and some of his friends, about 7 of them, had met me in 2017 when I had visited. I was at MCL. They had come and they met. That time I was surprised. They said they are working on building rockets. So it was those days not very easy to understand that they are building rockets, Bulla Engineering College. They say they are building some small ones. They wanted some help, that if they can get some help from the ISRO space. So when I went back, I told the Secretary Space, and they very sincerely interacted with them and gave some help, some project and so on. So what he said that much has changed last 7 years in all of their lives. He said he would have, through campus placement, he would have joined Infosys or some such IT company. But because of that meeting with me and also the help from the ISRO, he has his own, now he has set up a factory manufacturing drones. So he belongs to Bulla only. Then he said he has now employed 700 people, out of them 300 are professionals. So instead of becoming a employee, he has created so much of employment. So he had a small startup and it is still in the status of a startup. So I have been hearing a lot about the startup and Government of India policy and many things we are doing. But personally, I did not know actually how a startup works, how a person who has a startup, how I asked him a very probably a silly question because 700 people manufacturing this, and he said, I said, how much bank loan you get? He said, we are still a startup, we don't get bank loan. He said, but as a there, some venture capital, and he explained how he started, what he did. And I also asked him some question, how do you manage so many people? So it was a very exciting thing to know that one person, and of course he said all other friends, all the 7 of them were there at that time, they have all startups, somebody in education, somebody in some other area, somebody Bangalore and all that. But unfortunately, none of them have started in Odisha any startup. Of course, he said in Gujarat and other areas more response from the, but so I think some of you can encourage here startups and some of you can have also. I told the Chief Secretary and others yesterday also, because when we were waiting for a long time at Bhubaneswar airport, that they should see how their policy can change, So that's a very big area. Our production-linked incentive schemes across sectors such as electronics, pharma, and solar are driving manufacturing resurgence. For you, this opens up exciting roles in operation, logistics, supply chain strategy, and manufacturing excellence. With over 800 million internet users, India's digital economy is booming. As you heard today, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, and Industry 4.0 are no longer buzzwords, they are reality. Digital India has connected hundreds of millions in platforms such as the UPI, the payment platform, processed over 185 billion transactions in 2024-25. Our digital infrastructure is admired globally and serves as the backbone of our inclusive economic model. Next one is India's climate commitments are bold. We aim to install 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel by 2030. We have launched the National Green Hydrogen Mission. We are also co-founder of the International Solar Alliance and Global Biofuel Alliance. Clean tech, green finance, electronics, vehicles, carbon trading, and circular economy practices will all demand trained, innovative minds. And that is where your skill sets will come in. There are huge opportunities. Our IT exports have surpassed 200 billion. As you know, only 5-6 years ago, most of the mobile phones we were importing. Today, we have huge export of mobile phone, and most of our mobile phones are now made in India. Our pharma remains the lifeline of the world. With increasing confidence in Made in India, global markets are more accessible than ever before. You could lead business that export to the world and manage global supply network from the Indian soil. India needs to create 8 to 10 million jobs annually. Jobs, I mean quality jobs, to absorb its youth. The challenge is not just job creation, but ensuring alignment between skills and industry needs. That is what is very important. We should develop skills which are needed by the industry. That, of course, needs lot of interface between industry and educational institutions. We need to reform education, expand vocational training, and incentivize entrepreneurship. The government's Digital India and Skill India programs need champions in the private sector who can help impart digital skills to the underprivileged and mentor small business. After mentioning all these, the potentials which are there, opportunities which are there, and with your training here, you have huge opportunities. But to succeed, you need certain qualities. It is not merely technical skill. Technical skill is necessary for your success, but not sufficient. One's attitude and approach becomes important for coordinated and collective efforts. Interactions with stakeholders, colleagues, people, and even political functionaries are critical to our working together so as to achieve